He accidentally bumps into a little girl at school and goes to apologize.
But she immediately starts screaming, calling him a giant blockhead for running her over.
Wait, her sassy attitude sounds way too familiar to be a stranger. He tests her by blurting out their old secret rhyme about berries. The girl freezes and instantly spits out the exact response he expected. He stands there completely shocked, but absolutely thrilled. They finish the ridiculous childhood rhyme together in perfect sync. This ridiculous secret code actually worked like a charm. Shen Xingyun and Shen Zhuxing scream together, one overjoyed, the other completely devastated. Basically, you can guess they are actual siblings just from their names. But their parents clearly had a favorite when they were growing up. The son is Shen Xingyun, and the daughter is Shen Zhuxing. Right now, Shen Zhuxing is drowning in pure despair and disbelief. Why did she transmigrate to a new world and still end up stuck with him? The annoying older brother who always stole her things since childhood.
She laments that she must have been a villain to deserve this fate.
Shen Xingyun just chuckles and asks his little sister if she knows why. He says with a straight face that destiny loves a good joke. She groans at his philosophical nonsense. There is literally no escaping him. At this point, she just has to deal with him. He laughs, ruffling her hair and declaring that her fate is locked with his. He teases her for still being tiny even after transmigrating. That word completely triggers her and she starts jumping around in anger. She screams, asking if he thinks he is even 5 feet tall. He mocks her height, and that is when she decides to play dirty. She launches a physical attack, but he dodges with ease. He does not hesitate to retaliate with a quick kick to her butt. Shocked by his shamelessness, she goes full savage mode in this fight. Who cares about looking elegant? The key is striking fast and hard. This seemingly cute girl is targeting his lower half with every strike. Every single hit is lethal, so he has to run for it. He makes a tactical retreat since her legs are way too short. She misses her sweep entirely and chases him down in a blind rage. A hilarious chase begins across the campus, and honestly, the humor is top tier. He desperately wishes he had a scarf to hide his face. An elegant high school guy being hunted down by a little kid? Is this even normal? He covers his face in absolute shame. Distracted by the chase, he almost crashes right into a middle-aged man. He barely avoids him, but papers go flying absolutely everywhere. He has to slam on the brakes to help clean up the mess. Documents scatter like snow, and as he tries to scoop them up, the papers are literally fluttering around like giant pieces of confetti. Meanwhile, Shen Zhuxing is glaring at him with pure, unadulterated fury. To her, he probably looks just as goofy as that middle-aged guy. She charges straight ahead, rushing toward the completely stunned man. Some middle-aged guy gets hit with a clean slide tackle. Dead silence. The entire world just stops. Sure, Shen Zhuxing probably felt amazing, but they are in massive trouble now. Because the middle-aged guy she just swept off his feet isn't some random stranger. Nope, it is literally their school dean, and he is absolutely losing his mind with rage. Glaring with his bald head fully exposed, he watches Shen Zhuxing. He grabs his wig, which she just painstakingly dug out of the scattered paperwork, and slaps it back on. With a pitch-black expression, he drops a demonic whisper, telling them to get their parents to his office immediately. The dean stomps ahead of them in absolute fury, clutching his disheveled documents. They follow behind him with heavy steps, and the older brother whispers that this is completely her fault. Great, now their parents are getting called in, he mutters under his breath. Shen Zhuxing just snorts and reminds him that he used to get called to the office all the time anyway. One more time won't hurt, she says. Now, even though these two are actual biological siblings, their IQs have been worlds apart since childhood because she is an officially certified genius prodigy. Everyone in town knows their family raised a genius kid, and her school life was on another level. Basically, she spent her school year skipping grades, easily outpacing the entire school curriculum. Eventually, she just started self-studying, but compared to her, our main character is built a bit different. He was the ultimate underachiever, failing both arts and sciences completely. He ended up at a totally average university, living a completely ordinary life. Coming from a normal family, his biggest dream back then was literally to just learn how to drive an excavator.
Honestly, the only things about him that weren't average, his insanely good looks and his personality. He could have easily made a living just based on his face, but he insisted on relying on talent.
After college, an entertainment agency scouted him and immediately signed him on. After only a few months of training, they packed him up and threw him into an idol survival show. He fully intended to just slack off, but unexpectedly went viral solely because of his top-tier visuals. He gained a massive wave of fangirls, but his actual skills definitely didn't match his high ranking.
Since he lacked talent, the public backlash hit hard and fast. He decided to get out while he could, but there was no way he could afford the contract breach fee.
So he went and took the civil service exam instead, and during that scorching summer,
he basically became a massive dark horse, suddenly bursting back into the public eye. While all the media accounts were busy analyzing his crazy visuals and fan appeal, and claiming he was some kind of chosen superstar, his news suddenly took a wild turn. Overnight, all coverage of me vanished completely, like he was just a flash in the pan. He completely dropped off the grid, but since interacting with fans was fun, he started live streaming. So he opened up his own streaming channel and started doing food broadcasts, which is honestly a wild career pivot. Back in the dean's office, Shen Zhuxing and our main character just sit there. They are literally just staring blankly at this potted daffodil sitting on his desk, occasionally glancing at each other while the dean sits at the desk across from them. He's busy sorting through his ruined files, occasionally looking up to glare at both of them. He tells them one of them needs to make the call first, and then Shen Zhuxing nudges her brother. She whispers that since he has the most experience with this, he should be the one to call first. Panic mode. He tries to keep his voice steady. He literally just transmigrated into this body, so how on earth is he supposed to know their parents' number? If he messes this up, his entire cover is blown, and to make things worse, the original owner of this body was super paranoid about scams, so none of his contacts have real names. Every single contact is a weird nickname, leaving a transmigrated guy like him completely lost. Looking at the contact list on his screen, Shen Xingyun is completely speechless. What if he gets them mixed up and mistakes a grandpa for a little brother? You literally just transmigrated too? Shen Zhuxing looks incredibly shocked. I've been stuck here for years, Shen Xingyun replies, equally stunned. His sister had always been by his side, so how is this even possible? Did the timeline get completely glitched when they transmigrated into this novel? But honestly, overthinking the timeline logic isn't their biggest concern right now. They have a much more urgent crisis to deal with, getting their guardians called.
Shen Xingyun nudges Shen Zhuxing, saying since she's been here the longest,
she should call first, but she shoots back that he's the older brother.
You dial first, Shen Zhuxing says, blinking with the ultimate innocent puppy eyes look.
Bro, this is literally the only time she ever calls him her brother. Fortunately, Shen Xingyun spots the school principal's contact number on a desk document. He grabs his phone, dials the digits, and waits for the call to connect. After a few rings, someone answers, and he nervously stammers out a greeting. On the other end, his eldest sister, Ni Xiaoqian, instantly recognizes his voice.
She's a bit surprised, but he quickly admits he's in some deep trouble. He needs some serious help, because no matter how embarrassing it is,
he has no choice but to rely on his newly found big sister. She laughs it off and asks him what kind of mess he got into. Nie Xiaoqian checks her watch. It's only been 30 minutes since they parted. How did he already manage to get his guardian summoned so fast? His voice is so quiet, she barely catches it. What did you say?
He's too embarrassed to admit he got into a fight with a literal kid. Since he's mumbling, she still can't hear a single word he's saying.
So he takes a deep breath and yells that his guardian is being summoned. Ni Xiaoqian is completely stunned by his sudden confidence. She's been a principal for over a decade. And she's seen plenty of troublemakers, but never one this proud of getting caught. He sounds way too bold. She sighs and asks where he's waiting. He tells her he's in the dean's office, and she promises she's on her way.
She tells him not to stress, but since she's showing up as his official guardian, she's got a dress to impress. She waves her hand at her assistant, Shu Yuting.
She orders her to grab the high-end custom gown her husband bought her. And don't forget the matching luxury jewelry and hair accessories. She wants to keep it relatively simple, though, so she picks the pearl set. Shu Yuting is totally dumbfounded. What kind of phone call did her boss just receive? To make her bring out her most prized limited edition gown? Is she heading to some high society banquet? Could it be that mythical dress? The legendary sapphire blue gown? Ni Xiaochan nods, confirming the choice. She thinks this dress is perfect because it screams final boss energy. Shu Yuting gets super nervous and asks if she should call a stylist right now. That sapphire blue evening gown is so exclusive that Ni Xiaoshen has never actually worn it. She always felt it was way too flashy. It's a gorgeous, deep sapphire blue masterpiece, covered in intricate silver patterns and lined with tiny, shimmering crystal beads. It reflects the light beautifully. Talk about an absolute queen status. Is she about to attend some international presidential summit or what? No need for all that. Niao Chaoyin waved her hand, saying there was no time. Just help me out, it's an absolute emergency! Zhu Yuting's hands were literally trembling as she styled her. She worked with extreme caution, absolutely terrified of making any mistakes. Just then, her phone buzzed again with another call, and Nie Xiaochan glanced at the screen. She raised her eyebrows in surprise. Talk about rare! Her notoriously proud genius fourth sister?
Actually condescended to call her. Xiaoqian tapped the answer button.
A familiar, cold voice came through, telling Sister Xian to come to the dean's office.
I got called in by the school, Shen Zhuxing said as she hung up. She stood there copying the female lead's posture, standing straight with both hands folded perfectly politely. Talk about acting innocent. The dean glared at them and snapped, "What are you still doing here?"
Go wait outside, just looking at you guys gives me a headache. The dean was newly transferred from another school, and honestly, he has no idea what kind of monster he's dealing with. That would be Ni Care, a 9-year-old genius already in 8th grade. Rumor has it the only reason she was still in 8th grade was because the elder Mr. Nai refused to let her skip any more grades. Besides being a prodigy, she was also the beloved youngest child of the elderly Nai couple. But while heaven blessed her with mind-blowing intelligence, it also took some things away. She had absolutely no friends. She was incredibly aloof and proud. She rarely showed any emotion, even around her own family. Everyone felt like her gaze was like some god looking down on mere mortals. So nobody dared get close. But right now, this supposedly cold-hearted genius was leaning against our female lead, both of them staring blankly at the sky. Shen Zhuxing muttered under her breath, "What took you so long? I've been dying of loneliness in this world." Xiao Qian sighed. "I'm completely over it too. You think I know what's going on? Who knows how our parents are doing, and did our original bodies actually die like in novels?" Resting her chin on her hand, Shen Zhuxing wondered if their parents transmigrated too. Maybe they became wealthy nobles somewhere. By now, it was already noon. The sunlight slowly shifted, completely wrapping both of them in its warm glow. As the cicadas buzzed, Xiaoqian leaned back comfortably against the wall. She closed her eyes. Wait, wouldn't that make us a prince and princess? With a sleepy voice, she lazily humored Shen Zhuxin's wild imagination. The warm sun on the rooftop brought out all her laziness. All she wanted was to take a nice, peaceful nap right there. But we would just be fake royalty, Shen Zhuxing grumbled. We'd get wanted. And that carries the death penalty. What kind of nonsense are you talking? Xiao Qian let out a lazy yawn, saying she was definitely the rightful heir. Did you forget? This body doesn't actually belong to us. These bodies have their own biological parents, and as for our real parents, they probably have a new kid by now. Shen Zhuxing sighed deeply. Looking way too mature for her age, she noted, they were so used to beating you up. I wonder if their new kid is as easy to hit, and if they can adapt to a different feel. Like, would they miss the feel of beating you? By now, Xiao Qian's eyes were practically glued shut. Hearing those words instantly snaps our boy back to reality, so he completely misses the quiet muttering that follows. Like, wait, does that mean they aren't even blood-related? Talk about a massive plot twist. Shen Zhuxing just rolls her eyes, because honestly, she already knew this would happen. With a brother's room temperature IQ, there was no way he'd process it. Niker looks completely shell-shocked, like he just got struck by lightning. He's having a total breakdown, asking whose kid she actually is. He's giving major worried dad energy. Imagine raising a kid for over 10 years only to find out they aren't even yours. Absolute pain. Just as Shen Zhuxing is about to explain, she spots her older sister rushing over in the distance. She can't help but twitch her lips. Her sister is fully decked out in a high-end evening gown. She's strutting right towards them, and her poor driver, Shu Yuting, is following close behind. The guy looks completely dead inside, and honestly, who can blame him? When he asked which luxury car they should take, the grandpa calmly told him not to bother. Imagine the sheer despair when he realized the place was literally just a 5-minute walk away. Shen Zhuxing pretends she doesn't even know this girl, but her sister suddenly bolts forward like a wound-up toy. She dashes straight towards Ni Xiaoqian. Wait, is she running to her actual guardian or what? Meanwhile, Nikir and Ni Xiaoqian are just casually walking over, chatting and laughing. Shen Zhuxing's face goes totally dark as she instantly yanks Nikir over to her side. She glares at Ni Xiaoqian with pure hostility. Ni Xiaoqian looks down at this tiny kid who barely reaches her thigh. Seeing Shen Zhuxing's grumpy, deadpan face, she literally bursts out laughing and asks Nikir if he's trying to rebel. She asks if he wants to rebel, but Nikir just laughs and immediately starts messing with the kid's hair. He totally ruins her neatly combed hair, rubbing it into a wild mess. Instantly, this neat little elementary schooler is transformed into a complete fluffy-haired mess. Hey, Shen Zhuxing, you need to be polite! Both Nikir and Nie Xiaoqian blurted out at the exact same time. They both stare at her with disapproval, before suddenly realizing something is a bit off. They look at each other in shock. Nikir? Shen Zhuxing? Meanwhile, the kid just face palms. Talk about a total disaster zone. Nie Xiaoqian looks between the two of them completely confused and asks if they actually know each other. Nikir is just as lost, turning his gaze back to Shen Zhuxing for some answers. Do you guys know each other? Shen Zhuxing just sighs. Honestly, she is the one who wants to ask that, but she quickly puts on a serious face. She steps right into the middle with Nikir standing on her left and Ni Xiaoqian on her right. Both of them look completely baffled by this tiny kid. They're literally staring down at a kid who doesn't even reach their thighs. Shen Zhuxing turns to Nikir and says, "Brother, don't get the wrong idea. She's just an older sister to me." Then she turns to Ni Xiaoqian and tells her, "Sister, please stop throwing these childish tantrums." This underage little player is built different. Nikir and Nie Xiaoqian are completely stunned by her massive green tea energy. Her manipulative player speech literally leaves them both standing there completely speechless. There are so many things to roast here that they don't even know where to start. Finally, Ni Xiaoqian asks her brother what is going on. She really needs an explanation, so she decides to get the truth from Nikir. Nikir just replies that she's his adopted sister, leaving Nie Xiaoqian absolutely shocked. You see, her little sister has never had a single friend in her entire life. She refused to interact with anyone, barely speaking a single word, even to her own family. She'd lock herself in a room all day, making the family worry she was severely autistic. They even took her to famous specialists all over the country and abroad to get her checked. But the diagnosis was always the same. The kid definitely wasn't autistic. She just straight up didn't feel like talking to them. Hearing this, Shen Zhuxing glares at Nikir in annoyance. But in the end, she stays quiet, because after all, he is her favorite brother. If they tried to claim they were biological siblings right now, absolutely nobody would buy it. So what is her deal with him anyway? Shen Zhuxing yells at him with hurt in her eyes, looking like, how dare he see other girls behind her back? But he explains Ni Xiaoqian is just his sworn sister. Now it is our guy's turn to facepalm. He asks how she even knows his sister in the first place. Shen Zhuxing pouts and looks away like a betrayed wife. Biological siblings? Yeah, right. Wait, let us get this straight. So the sworn sister he just met is actually her sister, and her sister is basically his sworn sister? And also the biological sister of his sister, since they share no blood. But they are blood sisters. His current unrelated sister used to be his actual biological sister. At this point, our MC's poor brain is trying so hard to process this crazy relationship web that it literally crashes. Both girls nod at him at the same time, proving that even though they are all human, there is a massive IQ gap between them. But seriously though, why are they even in the dean's office getting their parents called at the same time? Ni Xiaoqian remembers her actual purpose for coming, and her eyes narrow. A cold glint flashes off her glasses. When she stops smiling and locks in,
She looks incredibly gorgeous, but radiates a terrifyingly chilling aura.
Our guy and Shen Zhuxing exchange a guilty glance. How do they even explain this? They actually fought a middle schooler and slide tackled the dean? Nah, that is insane. And the dean's wig flew right into a pile of files. It's too hilarious. Usually, when she is smiling, she looks like a gentle, caring beauty. But when she is deadpan and cold, her sheer pressure makes everyone shiver.
After all, she is the eldest daughter of the powerful Ni family. No way she is ordinary.
Even if this tigress plays nice, she is absolutely not a sleeping cat.
Compared to our guy, Shen Zhuxing is way more thick-skinned.
She lifts her chin, pulling a serious face. That looks exactly like Ni Xiaoqian's, admitting that they got into a fight. They accidentally took out a teacher and got caught red-handed. A fight? Ni Xiaoqian falls silent, totally speechless for a moment. Hearing the principal's voice, the dean drops his thermos and runs out.
Seeing her, he immediately greets her with a huge smile, calling her principal.
He asks why she came dressed so formally, while she just points to Shen Zhuxing, who has a defiant look, while our MC tries to shrink into the floor. Being the parent of these two must be exhausting. Poor guy is completely stunned. Let's go inside and talk, says Xu Yuting, being the last one to enter. She thoughtfully shuts the door, completely blocking out the noise from the hallway. Our guy sighs, and Shen Zhuxing lets out a heavy sigh too. Both keep their heads down, staring intensely at a crushed cola can on the floor. Their minds are completely spacing out. Suddenly, a guy with a ridiculously bright, neon red head of hair walks past. It is pretty rude. But our guy instantly thinks of a flaming lion head and a bright red flamingo. He cannot help himself and lets out a stupid, sneaky laugh. The red-haired dude must have heard him because he stops and walks right over, staring with absolute murder in his eyes, asking what is so funny. Karma hits instantly. Making fun of someone only to get caught red-handed is actually crazy.
Just as our MC is about to apologize sincerely, the guy next to him, Shen Zhuxing, starts stirring the pot.
He snitches to the girl that our MC compared her hair to a red-cooked meatball and a red flamingo. Our MC turns to him in absolute shock. How on earth did this guy read his mind? I guess family really does share the exact same unhinged, sketchy thoughts. Clearly he is not the only one, but man, if looks could kill, he is doomed. He would have died 1,000 times already. He slowly turns to smile awkwardly at her. But the moment he locks eyes with that red-haired girl, he completely freezes. Her fiery red hair is like exploding fireworks, and her skin is shockingly white. It has this crystal clear, glowing quality, with the corners of her eyes tilted upward. Yet there is no cheap charm here. She just radiates a wild, passionate energy. Her eyes are like a shimmering lake, clear yet full of mystery. With perfect, delicate features, she even has a tiny red mole between her brows. If you had to describe her, she has total apex hunter energy. She is absolutely stunning and has this magnetic charm you cannot ignore. Just one look is enough to make anyone feel this way. Living with her would be pure happiness because she is just so bright.
At this point, our uncultured MC is completely at a loss for words.
His mind is just a chaotic loop of cursing and absolute awe. No shot, she is literally his exact dream type. But with zero vocabulary, he has to rely on a single curse word. He can only curse in awe, but the moment she opens her mouth, everything changes. His heart instantly shatters. And no, it is not because her voice is bad. It is actually super sweet, just with a rebellious, defying the world edge to it. Instead, she immediately lets out a massive curse word that completely ruins the illusion. He totally misjudged her as she looks at him with pure disbelief. She asks if he just laughed at her hair, and MC desperately denies it. The beauty does not buy his lies, huffing that he is the red-haired rooster. Maxie casually plays along with her, but then his brain suddenly short-circuits. She looks at him in confusion, asking if he did not know he has red hair too. Turns out the original owner of this body relied on his handsome looks.
He slicked his hair back into a literal red afro, leaving no forehead covered.
Terrified, our MC touches his head, but obviously he cannot feel the color.
Since his fingers can't tell him anything, he runs straight to the mirror. Sure enough, he is sporting a bright red hair with insane volume.
It stands completely upright, looking even more ridiculous than the flamingo-haired beauty.
But soon, his shock over having red hair turns into a bizarre realization. He realizes his hairline is actually god tier, and honestly, the color looks pretty good. Instantly, he gets a massive boost of unearned supreme confidence. Trying to flex on his relative, he asks Shen Zhuxing if he looks handsome. Doesn't this wild color perfectly capture his cool, rebellious personality? Shen Zhuxing looks over at the red-haired neon Wanqing, then at MC. He says, honestly, my niece is absolutely gorgeous. But you just look pretty sketchy. After thinking hard, he firmly repeats, yeah, you look creepy. Is that even normal to say? Honestly, Shen Zhuxing has a point. Wait, what did you just call her? Shen Zhuxing looks at me like it is obvious. Our niece, Ni Wanqing, of course. Wait, his crush is his niece? That is a wild plot twist. Are they crazy? Now I finally get why everything was so convenient. Having matching couple hair with that random baddie was not an accident. It was not fate. It was straight up plagiarism. No wonder she looks so familiar to me. Turns out she is the Ni family princess that the host was completely obsessed with. He wanted matching couple items for literally everything, even having the exact same red hair. So he rushed to dye his hair this color. No wonder the guy was so hopelessly obsessed. Honestly, who wouldn't fold for a baddie like that? But in my broken novel memories, Ni Wanqing is the main female lead, and the male lead's childhood sweetheart who got away. To avoid getting the original host's tragic ending, I need to stay far away from them. Survival is key. I lock in, look dead serious, and tell her to be good. Call me uncle. That is the best way to cut off any romantic drama. Just become her uncle, but she just asks what kind of gibberish this is.
Ni Wanqing pouts and asks, I heard you have been spreading rumors about our class?
I look away guilty and play mute. Hey, Ni Wanqing, what are you doing here anyway?
Shen Zhuxing steps in with a cold face to bail her brother out.
She acts like a disappointed parent talking to a very troublesome, problematic kid.
Shouldn't you be in the cafeteria?
Suddenly, Ni Wanqing freezes as it hits her. She stares at her aunt with absolute shock. Wait, you actually spoke?
You actually talked to me! If the family finds out, my allowance will easily double. Suddenly, the door opens.
Xu Yuting walks out, about to tell them both to head inside,
when she spots that blindingly bright red hair standing right there.
Wait, Miss Hu Yidao, why are you here? It is lunch break right now.
Their young lady literally avoids staying at school whenever she can.
So why is she still hanging around? Ni Wanqing starts acting shady.
I finished class and just felt like taking a peaceful walk around campus. No shot she would admit all her teachers skipped school today. And she was just slacking off outside. If her mom ever found out,
she would be grounded forever. Xu Yuting is highly skeptical.
She tells the two of us to come inside first, but Ni Wanqing blocks us. She grabs Xu Yuting's arm. Wait, what is going on? Why are they so buddy-buddy?
Is this guy changing tactics because I rejected him? Like, is he using my aunt to get to me?
He picked the wrong target.
Everyone knows my aunt is a cold-hearted boss who is impossible to manipulate.
Xu Yuting gives her a complicated look and hesitates to speak. She stays quiet, turning around to head inside with me and Shen Zhuxing. Ni Wanqing hesitates for a second before sneaking in behind us. As soon as we enter the office, we spot Ni Xiaochen. She gives us a highly complicated look, with the school dean sitting right across from her. Absolute silence. We stand obediently, keeping our heads down next to Ni Xiaochen, and that is when I notice the monitor.
The security footage starts playing, and it shows our main character running for his life.
He keeps looking back to see if Shen Zhuxing is catching up to him.
Meanwhile, she is right on his heels, barely 5 paces behind and refusing to let him go.
She keeps trying to trip him with sweep kicks. It is pure chaos. He barely dodges the dean, but accidentally knocks all his papers flying everywhere.
Right behind him, Shen Zhuxing literally slide tackles the poor dean. Talk about collateral damage. Maybe this is the dean's petty revenge because he clipped this exact moment to replay it. Now it is playing on a loop while everyone just stares in dead silence. The teachers are standing around staring at the screen with completely serious faces. Honestly, they look like a professional tag team. One distracts him, and the other sweeps his legs to finish the job. Their movements are so incredibly smooth. With teamwork this perfect, nobody would believe they did not plan this beforehand. Nie Xiaochan is completely stunned and turns her cold gaze toward the two troublemakers. She asks what they have to say for themselves, making them exchange a quick look. Sensing the immediate danger, they immediately apologize to the teacher, desperately promising they will never mess around in school ever again. Our boy clearly has way more experience dealing with this and makes a solemn promise. He offers to reorganize all of the dean's scattered files to show his sincerity. Shen Zhuxing is completely blindsided by this sudden, competitive, and overachieving try-hard energy. Not wanting to lose, she screams that she will wash the teacher's clothes and socks. She even offers to wash his underwear and promises to buy a whole collection of wigs for him. She promises him a new hairstyle every day, which is honestly hilarious but completely unhinged. Nie Xiaochan is completely speechless, but honestly, she has never seen her daughter so active before. Nie Xiaochan and the other girls are standing nearby, completely dumbfounded by this bizarre display. Is this really the cold, aloof girl they all know? The dean quickly tells her it is not necessary. He coughs awkwardly, cleared his throat, and says that since both students are so apologetic,
And their attitude in admitting their mistakes is so positive, they can just let this slide.
honestly, he is probably terrified these two little monsters will actually try to rip his wig off and wash his head. Nie Xiaoqian flatly tells them to go back. Since the teacher has forgiven you, you two can go back now. Our guy breathes a massive sigh of relief and quickly waves goodbye to everyone, and immediately drags her out of the room before anyone can change their mind. Nie Xiaoqian watches them run off, but then her eyes land on something else. She spots a very familiar, bright, and incredibly obvious red head of hair. She is shocked and asks Nie Wanqing what she is doing there. Nie Wanqing complains that she was standing there the whole time, but her mom barely notices. But she completely ignores her own daughter and turns back to the dean with a request. She asks if she can get a copy of the security footage, and he happily agrees. He packages the footage and sends it over to Nie Xiaochan immediately. The moment she gets the clip, she knows exactly what to do with it. She immediately forwards this hilarious clip straight into their big family group chat. Instantly, the group chat blows up with questions about what kind of crazy video she just posted. Another family member is in denial, saying there is no way their cold aunt could be this wild. Spamming question marks, another relative admits it really does look like her. They beg Nie Xiaochan to speak up and stop leaving them all hanging like this. With a smug smile, she confirms it is indeed her, completely blowing everyone's minds. This group chat is absolutely blowing up, bringing out every single lurker. Nie Xiaotong tags Nie Care, complaining that her fourth aunt has totally changed. Then Nie Yueshi tags Nie Care too, repeating the same thing about her changing. Wu Yutong tags Nie Care, crying that her fourth aunt changed, followed by Nie Wenqing tagging her as fourth sister. Then Nie Jiwei and Nie Xiaoyao both chime in, tagging her and crying that their fourth sister is changed. Even Nie Yuqing tags Nie Kier, who finally snaps and asks if they are all completely out of their minds. After dragging Shen Zhuxing out of the dean's office, our main character finally checks the time. It is only 11:30, so it is the perfect time to grab some lunch at the cafeteria. Shen Zhuxing pats her empty stomach and says she will only eat if he is paying. With a grand wave of his hand, he declares that your big bro is feeling generous today and treats her. For most people, it is a once-in-a-lifetime event, but for him, being generous only happens once a millennium. Honestly, how much could a simple meal at a school cafeteria even cost anyway? Surprisingly, there are already tons of students heading in and out of the cafeteria at this hour. Seeing our boy and Nie Ker together, two legendary figures who usually have absolutely nothing to do with each other, this bizarre pairing turns heads instantly. Their school, Shinoa Academy, is a whole different level. It is the largest elite private school in the entire city, divided into primary, middle, and high school sections. The students they admit are either the absolute top academic prodigies who rank number 1 or 2, or they are the incredibly wealthy young masters and ladies from elite families. Since it is an elite school, its most obvious and defining feature is just being unbelievably rich. So even though it is technically just a school cafeteria, our boy looks up at the building before him. He is completely stunned to find himself staring at a massive 12-story skyscraper. Unbelievable! He cannot help but curse in shock, wondering how this could possibly be a cafeteria. The web novel world is just too ridiculous. Yes, the Shinhwa Academy cafeteria is literally an entire high-rise. It even has elevators. Floors 1 through 4 are for the regular scholarship students. The food there is cheap, but floors 5 through 12 are reserved strictly for the wealthy elite. They have 5-star chefs serving up the most expensive, fresh, and high-end ingredients imaginable. From specialty coffees to gourmet cakes, they have everything, and it gets way more expensive the higher you go.
Shen Zhuxing eagerly drags him into the elevator and immediately reaches to press the button for the 12th floor.
Reacting quickly, our boy grabs her hand, asking which floor she actually thinks is the cheapest. Without missing a beat, Shen Zhuxing tells him it is obviously the 12th floor, where all the scholarship students go. Skeptical, he lets go of her hand and lets Shen Zhuxing press the button anyway. The 12th floor is infinitely more luxurious than the ground floor, and even the air smells like pure wealth. He pauses in his tracks, holding Shen Zhuxing back. She looks up, asking what is wrong, big bro. She stares up at him with those incredibly innocent eyes. When he suggests heading back downstairs to eat, Shen Zhuxing is absolutely not letting him off the hook. Grabbing his hand, she pulls him inside while deploying the classic ultimate guilt trip phrase. Since we are already here, we might as well sit down and eat before we leave. She drags him along, confidently walking into one of the high-end restaurants on the 12th floor. In an elite school like this, even the restaurant servers are incredibly well-trained and professional. They are warmly greeted for their order, but our boy takes one look at the menu prices and freezes. His eye begins to twitch. A single abalone and truffle sauce goes for $198. Shark fin soup costs $928, and chicken wings are labeled as Phoenix Dance for $98. A mountain vegetable dish is $68. Come on, that is literally just stir-fried cabbage with mushrooms. Fragrant crab roe is $298, which is just eggs with mushrooms and salted egg yolk.
2 dragons playing with a pearl goes for $178, literally just 2 meatballs.
The most ridiculous dish of all is a combination platter poetically named Family Reunion. One side has chicken and egg, the other is soybeans and sprouts. This trash costs 198 yuan when the cost is barely 10. Not even luxury 5-star dishes are priced this insanely high. The smirk on his face instantly freezes. He slowly turns his head, staring at Shen Zhuxing with dead eyes. If looks could kill, she would be dead. Suddenly, his brain dings. A voice rings out announcing system Zaza Hui is online.
Finally, the ultimate cheat code has arrived.
He was wondering why a villainous side character like him lacked a cheat. Thrilled, he asks the system what kind of cheat it is. Is it a revenge system or a loser counterattack cheat? Zha Hui replies that due to force majeure, things changed. It was temporarily assigned to him, and trust me, this gets wild. He was too outstanding, so his original system literally ran away. The replacement systems all crashed and went on strike immediately. Grinding his teeth, he wonders if they actually ditched him. The system replies that it was a revenge cheat. His absolute dream system. Forcing a fake smile, he asks for more. He tries to act calm, pretending he does not care. A revenge system and a money system. Even the hoarding system broke down. Why did this happen? Is he banned from getting rich? What does the system do? Since a system chose him, he must be built different. But when Zaza Hui says it is a study system, he freezes.
He asks again, and the system calmly repeats it is for studying.
A study system? Nah, he hates studying. Zha Hui deadpans that it will make him love studying.
First task, name an English word starting with the letter H.
Without hesitation, he says hello. No shot, it is actually this easy. Everyone starts learning English with hello and gives up right there.
Task complete. The system grants a reward of 1,000 yuan.
Right then, his phone buzzed with an incoming text. He checks his screen to find a bank notification. His account ending in 8569 received a transfer. 1,000 yuan deposited, making his balance 1,045 yuan. It actually worked! Now he is highly motivated to study. He wants more tasks, but that was just the novice tutorial. To proceed, he must activate the system first, which annoys him. Fine, let us do this. What is the quest? He must find the female lead and call her dear baby, and tell her he finally found her.
Is the main system trying to get him killed? Ni Wanqing absolutely loathes him. He wonders if she hacked this trash system herself. Shen Zhuxing pulls his sleeve, asking why he is daydreaming. She thinks the absurd menu prices broke his brain.
So our boy finds out Shen Zhuxing already ordered everything, just waiting for him to pay. Right in front of him, the giant screen flashes 3 bright red numbers. 820! Seriously, is he gonna have to do hard labor to pay this off? But hey, he was just stressing over a system task, so this is actually the perfect timing. Our guy decisively walks right up to her, acting all close and trying to grab her hand. But she quickly dodges out of the way, leaving him grabbing thin air. His eyes narrow. Okay, so she actually has some decent reflexes. Ni Wanqing guards herself, totally on high alert, asking him what on earth he is doing. She demands to know if he understands personal boundaries, but our main character is famously thick-skinned. He plays along, calling her honey and claiming he has been waiting for her forever. He says her 4th aunt is waiting for them, and boom, the system confirms the task is done. The system static crackles in disbelief. Seriously? This actually worked? Her 4th aunt? Our guy just points over at the front desk to the helpless but very hungry Shen Zhuxing. Seeing him there, Ni Wanqing finally buys the story and stops looking at him like a total creep. They walk back side by side, both of them keeping their real motives hidden. Neither of them notices the phone cameras tracking them from a dark corner. To outsiders, they look like a perfect match, but Shen Zhuxing is absolutely losing his mind. He is deeply disappointed in our guy, accusing him of dodging an $800 bill by literally selling his soul and his looks to a beautiful girl.
Because in his mind, a guy destined to stay single forever would never flirt with a real beauty.
The only girls our boy would ever approach are the ones working at the local foot massage parlor. Or the street food stalls, so finding someone this high class is just insane. Shen Zhuxing dramatically clutches his chest, asking if his friend is trying to give him a heart attack. Our guy tries to explain that the whole 4th aunt thing was just a quick cover story. But Shen Zhuxing literally plugs his ears and shuts his eyes, chanting like a stubborn child.
He chants that he is not listening to any of it and refuses to open his eyes.
Honestly, watching these 2 idiots bicker is easily the best part of this series. Our main character looks at Ni Wanqing, apologizes, and says her 4th aunt won't be needing that dinner. He quickly pays the bill and drags his sulking friend away before things get any weirder. The task is successfully completed, so they run off, leaving Ni Wanqing completely dumbfounded.
She is left standing there wondering who he even is and what just happened.
Outside, Shen Zhuxing crosses his arms and scoffs, saying that even paying the bill won't save him. He declares he won't forgive him, but our guy just hits him with a totally deadpan reaction. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket starts vibrating, so he pulls it out to check. He sees a text message from a contact saved under the name Bai Jingya. She demands to know where he is because his livestream is about to start. Livestream? What livestream? He is completely confused by this message. The system laughs at his confusion, reminding him that before the Shen family found him, the original host actually signed a contract with some shady, obscure little agency. And because of that, the old family patriarch absolutely hated him showing his face in public. You have got to be kidding me! But the system's words actually trigger a faint memory. In the original story, there really was a plotline about his life before the family reunion. Since his looks were literally top tier, a small talent agency scouted him right off the street. They locked him into a contract to do live sales, but despite his gorgeous face,
He was apparently so bad at it that he couldn't even gain a single follower.
he wasn't even mildly popular. Basically, he was a total nobody online. Yet the original owner of this body was still dreaming of overnight stardom. Especially after returning to the wealthy Shen family, he was obsessed with making them respect him. But the family patriarch, Old Man Shen, was definitely not having it. He laid down a strict rule that Xingyun couldn't use any family connections. Soon, the person texting him ran out of patience and just called. His phone kept buzzing, and after hesitating for a bit, he picked up. Instantly, a loud scream blasted through, making him pull the phone away. He wondered if going deaf counted as a workplace injury before checking if she was okay. Hearing his voice, the person on the other end let out a massive sigh of relief.
She said they couldn't reach him and thought something terrible had happened. Honestly, the boss's wife at his agency was actually pretty sweet. She really cared about her staff, especially back when Xingyun was dirt poor. Back then, he was struggling so hard he could barely afford food.
It was actually his boss who lent him money to survive those tough times.
Yeah, he had to borrow money because his agency was basically a joke. It was legally registered but barely staying afloat because of how tiny it was.
How small, you ask? Aside from the boss, there were literally only 2 employees. One was our main character Xingyun, and the other was his manager. But here is the wildest part. When Xingyun was absolutely broke, the boss borrowed money for him, and the lender was none other than Bai Jingya. Yes, his own manager. Since the boss couldn't repay her, things got crazy. He ended up giving her half the company's shares, which is honestly hilarious.
Now they have 2 bosses and exactly 1 employee, but 0 actual funding.
They are seriously broke, yet somehow under these ridiculous conditions,
They still managed to pay him 2,000 yuan every single month.
he seriously suspected the boss was working a side hustle just to pay him. Honestly, this is so wholesome, it could make a grown man cry.
Maybe that is why, while everyone else jumped ship, the original owner stayed loyal. He never left them. Xingyun then told her he was currently at school.
She sounded completely shocked, asking if he was feeling sick or something. He explained he just wanted to study, leaving her completely speechless before she sighed.
She was glad he finally got his head straight, saying a man needs education.
That way, he wouldn't get played in the real world like she did. Seeing her go on a massive rant, he knew he had to cut her off.
He quickly steered the conversation back, asking her about some live stream she mentioned. She brushed it off, telling him to make sure he ate his lunch first. She urged him to go eat since he had classes starting soon.
Besides, that dead live stream of his barely had any viewers anyway. She told him to just handle it after school, not wanting to disturb him. With that, she hung up. Meanwhile, his sister Shen Zhuxing was still visibly annoyed.
Yet she was curious and casually asked who had just called him. He put the phone down, calmly telling her it was just his manager.
Hearing him mention the entertainment industry again caught her off guard.
She got curious, suddenly remembering how things went down in her past life.
Remember when our boy just spawned out of nowhere? He instantly hijacked the front pages of every major website. Even the crowd lining up to play chess with Father Shen suddenly blew up.
Mother Shen got extra discounts on groceries, and Shen Zhuxing got swamped too.
Secret love notes kept pouring in, but one particular note really stood out. It basically said kids these days are not as pure as we used to be. You do not even play with other kids. Where did your childhood go?
Where is your youthful energy? Where did you bury your prime years? Where did your awesome older brother run off to, and what is his number?
No shot. But hey, if single-digit view counts make a star,
then he is basically a massive celebrity in this world right now. Our boy just shrugged and asked him what his agent wanted this time.
There was a live stream after school, and you cannot just take free money. He might be lazy, but he is not shameless. A man has got to have boundaries. Shen Zhuxing awkwardly offered to tag along. Well, he insisted on going anyway, but he would never admit his true reason.
He had literally waited years for our protagonist, so he hated parting ways so quickly.
Our MC could not understand this tsundere kid, but then he saw the food coming.
His eyes lit up. The feast was finally served.
High-end restaurants hit different. They even have personal servers standing right there. Honestly, having someone watch him eat just made him feel like a pig eating fancy grass. It felt super awkward, so he politely dismissed the server to get some privacy. Whenever they ate together, Shen Zhuxing always seemed to have a massive appetite. Especially when they fought over the food. It was not even a fancy meal. But let's be real, food always tastes better when you are fighting for it. They went back and forth, and within just 10 minutes, they completely demolished an 800 yuan lunch. Ain't no way they ate that fast. While others spent 30 minutes chewing elegantly, these two just dominated with chopsticks. They wrapped up the entire battle in 10 minutes. Time to go! It was only 1:30, leaving them a whole hour before class started. Our boy took Shen Zhuxing down to the 12th floor, still feeling unsatisfied. "Let's hit the supermarket," he said. Shen Zhuxing rubbed his empty stomach and smiled. His eyes sparkled as he agreed. He regretted trying to prank our MC earlier. Going to that overpriced high-end restaurant with tiny portions was a huge mistake. Cheap local Lanzhou ramen would have been so much better. They headed toward the store. Suddenly, the system's voice, Za Hui, rang out right in his head. "First mission received. Memorize the periodic table of elements. Reward? 500 yuan. Our boy did the smoothest U-turn you have ever seen." He started walking straight back to the classroom, completely smooth and unsuspected. A moment later, Shen Zhuxing blinked and realized this was the wrong way. Our MC did not even slow down. Nope, we are heading to class. Shen Zhuxing was utterly confused. Why go to the school building instead of shopping? Simple. Our guy announced he was going there to study. "I need to grind and secure my future," he said, looking incredibly righteous. "You really need to start thinking about your own future too, little bro."
Did you take the wrong meds and break your brain? She asks, reaching for his forehead.
He immediately slaps her hand away, telling his sister she is the one who's crazy. He rolls his eyes, muttering that only knowledge can actually change their destiny. Since the board is not set, they both still have a real shot at a comeback. After studying so hard, how could anyone be willing to stay at the bottom? Shen Zhuxing suddenly stops dead in her tracks, her expression turning dead serious. She looks at him with dead seriousness and suggests they go see a psychiatrist immediately. He quickly runs off to study, telling her he has no time to waste. Waving goodbye, our main character heads straight to class, but when he steps into the room, it is completely empty. He follows his system guide Zha Hui's directions to find his seat. He sits down, laughing because bad students always have the most ridiculous amount of stationery. Honestly, the desk is literally covered in every colorful, useless pen and notebook imaginable. He pulls out his chemistry book and opens the periodic table. But let's be real. Studying makes literally everything else look fascinating. He keeps staring out the window, then starts picking at his nails, letting his gaze wander absolutely anywhere. Except for the actual chemistry book. After 40 minutes of doing absolutely nothing, and getting slashed with endless warning screens from Zha Hui, he finally lets out a heavy sigh. He actually starts memorizing, but instantly gets stuck on the very first few elements. His brain is completely lagging, trying to remember what comes after nitrogen and oxygen. It is literally that classic Ma Dongmei meme playing out in his head in real time. But after a brutal hour and a half of pure mental torture, his rusty brain finally pulls off a miracle. He actually manages to memorize the entire periodic table, which is honestly impressive. Meanwhile, his classmates start walking in, and they are completely stunned to see someone studying. Especially since that someone is the class slacker. Their faces are pure, unfiltered shock. He recites the entire table flawlessly in his head to prove it to Zha Hui. Once the sweet notification of the cash transfer hits, he starts feeling himself a bit too much. He proudly boasts that this basic stuff is too easy, and he could even recite it backward. The system Zha-Hu responds with a completely flat voice that is somehow incredibly savage. It basically tells him that with his slow speed, it could have memorized ancient scriptures. While Zha-Hui continues roasting his low efficiency, a sudden shadow looms over his desk. Someone asks if it is true that he has been out there trash-talking their class. He looks up and sees a super cute, baby-faced boy standing right there. The boy has beautiful chestnut brown hair that literally glows with a golden shine under the sunlight. His hair is slightly long and wavy, and honestly, looking at him, he is immediately reminded of Cupid, the little angel of love himself. That pure, innocent vibe is so wholesome, but his useless system is completely playing dead. Since the system keeps ignoring him, he awkwardly asks the boy who he is. The boy stares at him blankly before saying he sits directly in front of him. The boy says his name is Zong Bue, and our guy immediately loves how unique that is. He jokes that a name meaning always full is amazing, and the boy actually thanks him before realizing the trap. But the kid quickly snaps back, reminding him he still hasn't answered the accusation.
He puts on his best innocent face, arguing that he only told a harmless story.
Zhang Bue actually buys it, turning to his deskmate Chusha to explain the misunderstanding. He tells her that our guy was just sharing a story and didn't mean anything bad. But Chusha just sighs, telling him only a total airhead would fall for that. Before class starts, our resident cinnamon roll makes his move. Zhangbuer turns around, asking classmate Shen for her contact info. She gladly agrees. But once he scans her QR code, he completely freezes. He hesitantly turns the screen back to her. Is this really you? She nods. This is all to respect the original owner. Though she kept the account, she absolutely could not stand that cringe bio about loving Ni Wanqing. Seriously, what a sappy name. So she just made a new account and added everyone from the Shen family list. Some accept instantly, sending a basic smiling emoji. Not to be outdone, she sends the exact same smile back. Polite, but totally casual. She waits. Zhang Buye stares at her profile in absolute silence for a while. Finally, he hits add. Her username? Scared of dying. Her bio says the bigger the orange, the bigger the peel, with a King Yama meme as her avatar. The meme literally says, "Listen up, mosquitoes, your grandpa Yama is here." But the cover photo is even wilder. It is a middle-aged Ultraman in a military coat and sunglasses. He is riding a bicycle with huge text saying, "A simple life is the only true life." Honestly, even she has to laugh at this chaotic energy. Just then, a friend request from Charcoal-Grilled Small Intestine pops up, and she accepts instantly. Right after they connect, a giant red light bulb of a guy stops right next to them. He impatiently kicks her chair to make her move, and she instinctively stands up. Turns out it is Ni Wanqing. Talk about major perks. But the chemistry teacher is already walking into the classroom. Songbuer reluctantly turns around. The teacher drops his book on the podium, and the entire room goes dead silent.
It is surprise quiz time, the periodic table.
Everyone instantly panics. Students are frantically scratching their heads, praying for a literal miracle. They stare at the ceiling for answers. The model students pretend to pay attention, while the slackers have checked out. Completely given up, the classroom is a whole mood. It is a total nightmare for bad students, but then the teacher calls on Shen Qiang. You can practically hear the collective sigh of relief as Shen Qiang stands up. He starts reciting with flawless ease. So this is the male lead. She rests her chin on her hand. Squinting slightly, she takes him in. No wonder he is the darling of this story. Those pretty boy looks are no joke. Seriously, who could resist? Even she has to admit he is handsome. But she has no plans to get in his way, as long as Shen Qiang does not target her. He probably won't even notice her. She is happy to keep her distance from the main couple. Let them have their romance. At the end of the day, she is only here for the cash. Our girl was totally lost, drooling over the male lead when the chemistry teacher suddenly barks her name. Talk about bad timing. Every single eye in the classroom is now locked dead on her. Those looks are filled with pure doubt, utter disbelief, and straight-up mockery. Some are even waiting to watch her fail, but she just takes a deep breath. Stealing her nerves, she actually thanks her system.
For what? For forcing her to memorize the periodic table under threat of death?
Otherwise, she would have been humiliated, but right now, it is payback time. Without even pausing for air, she rattles off the entire table like an absolute pro. The looks of absolute shock on everyone's faces, not gonna lie, that was insanely satisfying to watch. Even the chemistry teacher is completely stunned, never expecting her to actually pull this off. The lecture she had prepared gets stuck right in her throat, and she has to swallow it back down. She manages a weak praise, telling the class to follow her lucky classmate's great example. Since there is no drama to enjoy, the disappointed crowd just groans in defeat. Meanwhile, our girl sits right back down with her chin held high, looking like a proud white swan. It is like she is rocking an invisible crown and wearing a beautiful tutu on stage. Dancing under the spotlight, while next to her, Ni Wanqing lazily rests her chin in her hands. She stares at our main character with narrowed, highly intrigued eyes. That striking red mole between her brows looks even more vibrant, shining in the sunlight.
Feeling a bit chilled by that intense gaze, our girl can't help but shoot a sharp side-eye back.
"What do you want, young lady?" "Nothing," Ni Wanqing replies. She mumbles as she slumps over her desk, clearly having lost all her amusement. Our girl secretly smirks, thinking she has charmed yet another pretty lady with her sheer charisma. But then, the real twist happens, as our main character suddenly starts acting like a completely different person. Out of nowhere, she turns into an absolute academic weapon, studying like crazy in physics and geography. Throwing all her old lazy habits out the window, she keeps her head down, writing nonstop.
She keeps tapping her pen, switching between deep concentration and these sudden, dramatic breakthrough expressions. But she isn't the only one watching, because across the room by the window sits another girl. A quiet, dark-haired beauty in a crisp white shirt, her hair falling softly around her face. It slightly hides her gorgeous features, but right beside her is her desk partner. She is also staring at our main character as if she has just seen a literal ghost. This one has got flashy pink highlights in her dark hair and a matching pink earring in her left ear. If you look closely, you can tell these two girls actually look incredibly similar. But their completely opposite personalities make it easy to forget they share the same face. One is gentle while the other is fiery, and yes, these two are actually our MC's twin sisters. Meet Shen Xingyun and Shen Mengyao, who suddenly asks Xingyun why she keeps staring at their sister. Mengyao pokes her arm with a pen, prompting Xingyun to quickly look away from our main character. She shifts her focus back to an English book on her desk, eyes half closed as she gets lost in thought. Mengyao doesn't seem to notice that her sister has zero interest in chatting right now. She just keeps rambling on, complaining about how she failed to make her grand entrance today. This girl even prepared a mask for the drama, wasting her entire afternoon anticipating the moment. She thought she could mock Xingyun with the periodic table, but before she could even start her show, Xingyun completely stole her thunder, a fact that Xingyun quietly recalls with a calm expression. Her hands don't stop moving as she gently flips to the next page of her book. She keeps her eyes glued to the pages, completely ignoring Mengyao's constant complaints, simply muttering that she's too loud, leaving Mengyao stunned before she huffs and rolls her eyes. It is all Shen Xinyi's fault that everyone thinks Yan Luo is a hyper-focused study nerd. But in reality, our girl is just desperately begging her system Zha Hui for a break. She is physically crying out that her brain is completely fried from all this studying. But the system simply asks if she is really sure about throwing away that next $500 reward. Zha Hui drops the bait effortlessly, knowing exactly how to handle her after just a few hours. Honestly, this system has already completely figured out our main character's biggest weakness. To put it simply, there is absolutely nothing a fat stack of cash cannot solve. If one stack doesn't work, then two stacks will, making Yan Lu pout after a brutal afternoon. She has been totally blasted with complex chemistry formulas, hard physics problems, and endless, exhausting geography worksheets. These school subjects left her brain ages ago, and she feels like she's going completely bald. For hours, she relied purely on easy memorization tasks to grind cash until the actual practice questions started. Now she realizes how incredibly blessed and easy memorizing was, begging the system to just let her memorize things again. She claims the money doesn't even matter. She just misses the endless cycle of memorizing and forgetting. Forgetting and then memorizing again is pure heaven, but Zha Hui shuts her down with absolute coldness. She complains that these questions are totally unscientific, especially since the system only gave her one single point. She points to a geography question asking why people have to form a team to go dig ginseng. The official answer says digging ginseng gets you bitten by snakes, so a team can at least carry you back. She argues back righteously. Even if she had the answer sheet, she wouldn't dare copy that nonsense. But she still had to sneak a peek at the key to see what went wrong. The system gets frustrated, demanding to know how she could possibly write such a ridiculous answer on the test. Zha Hui starts emitting loud, chaotic, static noises, clearly getting pushed to his absolute limit by her stupidity. Yan Luo wrote that digging ginseng gets you bitten by snakes, but a team lets you bite other people. If this system actually had a face, you just know it would be staring at her in sheer, utter disbelief. He's probably thinking he raised a total rebel, yet he still has to force her to keep studying. She's so deep in her mental bickering that she completely misses the classroom whispering and staring out the window.
Right outside the window stands a 9-year-old little girl sporting long, bright pink hair.
She looks incredibly sweet and obedient, neatly carrying a matching pink school bag like a perfect model student.
However, her gentle looks and cute vibe are completely ruined by her deadpan, serious facial expression.
Even though she is incredibly adorable, she keeps her face completely cold and emotionless.
Middle school lets out earlier than high school, which is why she is currently standing right at their classroom door. It looks like she's waiting for someone. Wait, that's the famous Ni Kei-chi?
No shot! The legendary study god of the school actually visited the high school building right before the big monthly exams.
Everyone is wondering if just looking at her can magically add 40 points to their test scores, even though Ni Kei-chi is only in middle school. But everyone knows she is built different, and her actual academic limits go way beyond standard middle school material.
She gets perfect scores not because that is her limit, but because the test only goes up to that.
Her classmate Zhong Bue turns around and nudges Ni Wanqing, who is currently knocked out sleeping on her desk. Hey Wanqing, wake up! Your fourth aunt is literally waiting for you right outside. Her fourth aunt? Ni Wanqing opens her sleepy eyes and looks out, shocked to see the little girl actually standing there. Wondering what the kid wants, Ni Wanqing slowly drags herself out of her seat to go check.
Zhong Buin jokes that she shouldn't corrupt the pure kid, saying her aunt probably came to walk her home.
Zhong Bue grins mischievously, earning a quick shove and a tell-off. Ni Wanqing tells him to beat it, but because her strict little aunt is watching from the door, she behaves herself.
She acts incredibly studious for the rest of the class, while Yan Luo secretly decides to accept the $500 task. Thankfully, the school bell rings just in time, prompting Yan Luo to quickly fake a disappointed face.
What a shame, she sighs dramatically, claiming she really wanted to crush another 30 to 50 worksheets.
Right at this moment, her system Jia Hui drops the 10th quest. Finish a chem and biology paper with 40% accuracy for a 500 yuan reward.
Honestly, she is such a scrub that even a 40% requirement is a compliment.
But she is already grabbing her bag and flying out the door, footsteps echoing.
Only to run right back inside looking totally embarrassed, snatching the 2 test papers and stuffing them in.
Meanwhile, Shen Xingyun and Shen Mengyao are leaving school as Shen Qiang glances back at her, rushing around. He asks if she is coming home with them, but Shen Xingyun just shrugs it off.
Asking when Shen Xingyun ever goes home with them, though Shen Qiang keeps looking back at her.
He wants to say something, but ultimately stays quiet. She grabs the papers and sprints right back out, where little Shenju.
Shin naturally reaches out to take her heavy school bag for her.
He pulls out a pack of supermarket spicy strips while she hands it over.
She rips the snack open instantly and stuffs a piece right into his little mouth. Then she starts munching on them herself, completely unbothered.
Honestly, she sees absolutely nothing wrong with letting a 9-year-old kid carry her bag.
Since their parents were always busy, it was just the 2 of them growing up together.
But honestly, Shen Zhuxing is the real adult here, acting like a total little parent.
Constantly lecturing her about not eating cold things or having foods that are too spicy.
While she loves sleeping in, this kid wakes up early every single day to cook her breakfast. And get this, he literally never makes the same breakfast twice. Talk about built different. Always balanced with meat and veggies.
Plus, his kindergarten is literally just 1 street away from her middle school.
He always calculates the exact time he gets out to buy her some street snacks.
Just to tide her over. Honestly, their dynamic is hilarious.
It is like a real-life comedy show of a useless older sister and her little brother, whose cheeks are currently stuffed full. He mumbles and nags while struggling to chew on the spicy strip.
He complains that their classroom water dispenser is broken, leaving only cold water to drink. That is bad for your body, and he did not even buy any drinks.
Those are just packed with artificial coloring, which is terrible for your health.
So she just munches on her snack while listening to her little mom brother nag. The 2 walk off together. But today is a bit different. Ni Wanqing packs up her things lightning fast and sprints to the school gate, only to find the entrance completely empty. Talk about being left in the dust. Meanwhile, she is walking home slowly when the phone in her pocket starts buzzing violently. She swipes right to answer, and the voice on the other end asks for Xinyan.
Bai Jingyao urgently asks if she has finished her classes yet.
She confirms she is out, and Bai Jingya sighs in absolute relief. She tells Xinyan to rush to the gate immediately, even though the stream was supposed to be flexible. But who knew that terrible client would suddenly demand a 6 o'clock start?
She is waiting right at the entrance, prompting our girl to check the time.
It is already 5:30. She stuffs the remaining spicy strips into her mouth,
Tosses the wrapper in the trash and sprints off instantly.
but she still turns back to shout at her completely bewildered little brother.
Shouting that she has to go first because she is completely out of time. But little Shen Zhuxing is not about to give up that easily. After freezing for a second, meanwhile, the little girl happily dashes after our main character, leaving the Shen siblings to just stroll along. Suddenly, a boy fast as the wind turns into an absolute blur, zooming right past them. He is going so fast they cannot even see his face, just his retreating back. Honestly, they're probably wondering if that was just a rogue trash bag flying by. Shen Mengyao shakes her head in pure shock, her eyes widening as she watches him go. Beside her, Shen Xingyun narrows his eyes as he stares at the rapidly vanishing figure. That back looks incredibly familiar, but just as the mysterious figure completely disappears, another tiny figure comes rushing past them, and her speed is actually insane for her size. Except she is carrying quite a load with a massive backpack on her back.
And another bag clutched tightly in front as she waddles along like a penguin.
Mengyao can barely believe her eyes. Wait, is that actually his little sister Kier? But then again, is there even any other kid running around this school? Xinyan mutters in confusion. Wasn't she supposed to be totally quiet, weak, and hated moving around? She usually refuses to even take a single step, but this is definitely not a weak girl. Even with the confirmation right in front of her, Mengyao is still in complete disbelief.
Honestly, chewing on snacks while sprinting at lightning speed is peak main character energy.
Finally reaching the gate, he realizes this school is built way too massive for its own good. Sprinting for over 10 minutes straight has him standing there completely out of breath, gasping for air. Just then, two people who look almost completely identical walk over from a short distance with warm, friendly smiles. Both of them have round faces, and their eyes turn into tiny crescents when they smile. They look incredibly friendly and have these very petite, cute, doll-like figures. Our main character pauses, totally caught off guard by their appearance.
He wonders if they are siblings. Just then, another man looks at him.
Noticing his completely empty hands, the man asks with confusion, "Where is your backpack?" Hearing that familiar voice, our boy immediately puts two and two together. The woman next to him is Bai Jinya, the one who called earlier. As he prepares to explain, his little sister Kerr finally catches up, carrying his heavy backpack. She is completely out of breath, so he quickly pats her back to help her recover. Seeing Bai Jinya send a highly confused look his way, he quickly introduces the kid as his little sister Kare. The boss thanks him, appreciating him rushing over for the sudden stream. As the man who called out to him speaks again, his authoritative tone is a dead giveaway. It turns out he is actually the big boss, making Xingyun feel a bit overwhelmed. Honestly, what did he even do to deserve two high-level bosses personally picking him up? Incredibly flattered, he quickly says it is really no big deal. This is just what I deserve anyway, big boss. Bai Jingya immediately stares in shock as both bosses instantly freeze like statues. Our boy panics as he realizes he just accidentally said his inner thoughts out loud. He quickly tries to save it, stammering that he meant it is his absolute duty. With less than 30 minutes left until 6 o'clock, they stop wasting any more time. They all jump into the car and Jinya asks if he needs some quick makeup. She thinks a touch of makeup will make him look even more handsome on stream. Even though she knows his natural, bare-faced look is already a solid 10 out of 10. But a little extra touch-up could give him that absolute cheat code visual. He waves it off. Overflowing with supreme confidence, he asks why he would even bother when barely anyone is watching. Besides, he knows he is just built different, leaving Jinya staring at him in complete disbelief. Even if they cannot quite point out what changed, our boy is looking way more confident and carefree today. A bumpy 20-minute ride goes by in a flash on these rough roads. Trying to look cool but failing, he struggles to drag open the van door. Stepping out on shaky legs, our guy immediately loses all composure and starts dry heaving. Yep, a big boss's fancy ride is definitely not meant for a corporate slave like him to enjoy. Just as the four of them arrive at their destination, Bai Jingya's phone suddenly starts buzzing. She pulls it out to check the screen and her face instantly drops. This is seriously way too much, she mutters under her breath in pure frustration. Our boy asks what's wrong, and she explains that a big shareholder was supposed to come inspect them. They rushed all the way here to welcome him, only to be told he is not coming anymore. Just like that, they got brushed off, leaving Bai Jingya completely helpless. But our regression main character is totally used to this, patting her shoulder to tell her to relax. This kind of stuff happens all the time when you are at the bottom of the food chain. People treating you differently based on your status is something he saw way too much in his past life. Back when he first joined a talent show as a complete nobody with zero backing. The makeup artists, the stylists, and the costume designers. They were all too busy running around after the popular trainees who actually had big agencies and fandoms. A total ghost like him did not even get a single glance from anyone in the room. In the end, he had to handle his own outfits, styling, and makeup all by himself. Fighting like a lone warrior, Bai Jingya never expected him to be this calm instead of throwing a tantrum. Now that he's comforting her, her eyes start welling up with tears of gratitude. He pats her shoulder and tells beautiful sister Xiaoya to cheer up and not cry over this. You and the big boss should head back first, since the client is a no-show anyway. But are you going to be okay by yourself? Bai Jingya asks him with genuine worry. I'll be fine, he says, gently pushing the two of them out the door. Hey, if we can save at least one person from doing overtime, that's a win. The livestream equipment is already set up, but calling this place a studio is a massive stretch. In reality, it's just a completely empty room with a single table in the middle. Laid out on the table is a pile of snacks branded with the logo Old Pie's Snack Shop. Their so-called high-tech setup is literally just a cheap smartphone held up by a basic stand, plus a ring light and a single reflector board to keep things somewhat visible. Shen Zhuxing drops her backpack onto the floor and sits down right next to him at the table. The screen shows exactly 0 active viewers in the live stream. Yep, a solid 0. They exchange an awkward glance and stutter through a few introductory lines to the empty room. That painful 0 is still staring right back at them, but sheer professionalism keeps our boy going. He keeps pushing through the awkwardness until his phone suddenly buzzes in his pocket. It's a text message from Sister Bai Jingya saying she almost forgot to tell him something. She says the vendor actually has absolutely 0 expectations for their sales today. So he can literally just chill and goof off in front of the camera for 1 hour. By the way, she adds, feel free to eat all the snacks on the table and stay hydrated. Oh my god, our boy is almost in tears. What kind of heavenly job is this? He gets to slack off and eat free food, so he quickly texts Sister Xiaoya back, promising he's got this. Forget 1 hour, he could easily do this for 2 hours straight. He lets out a long sigh of relief, fully prepared to start slacking off in style. But Shen Zhuxing also spots the text message, noticing our guy is already plotting his next move. He reaches for the snacks, but she instantly slides them all to her side. Did you do your homework? 1 correct answer equals 1 snack. Our guy helplessly sighs. He slowly pulls his test paper from his bag. If he knew it was this hard, he would have guessed his way through. Double the torture for a snack? Total scam. Meanwhile, a massive food blogger named Gao Feifei is browsing online. Her wholesome content has over 2 million followers on social media. Lately, she is totally out of ideas. So she's scrolling through random shopping streams looking for inspiration. Suddenly, her finger slips. She clicks onto a blacked-out stream. The channel is named Afraid of Death. What a name. She is about to close it, but then she hears a little girl. Her voice is filled with pure anger, saying he got it wrong again. A kid streaming homework? Now Gao Feifei is interested. She keeps watching, completely glued to the screen. The streamers have no idea, they just got their first viewer. Our guy begs her to stop scolding him in a soft voice. She sounds like a literal kitten, melting everyone who listens. She is incredibly cute, and Gao Feifei is obsessed. Any thought of leaving completely vanishes. But get this, cute is a major understatement for her. She snaps at him, demanding why he cannot analyze physics. The little girl is tutoring this guy and losing her patience. On screen is a red-haired teenager who looks like a high schooler. He is scratching his head looking totally dead inside. Completely lost, like a confused puppy. That is when Gao Feifei feels her heart skip a beat. She quickly hits screen record. This handsome guy must be shared with her fans. Meanwhile, he is pleading with his sister for some mercy. Even though he got 0 questions right, he looks dead serious. Give your brother some snacks. Gao Feifei is totally speechless. He literally tells her to respect his 8 extra years of life. Shen Zhuxing finally sighs and tosses him some peanuts. Plus some spicy strips and instant noodles, which he grabs instantly. He rips the package open, takes a deep breath, and gasps. That nostalgic, savory flavor makes his eyes light up instantly. He is completely obsessed with this snack, and honestly, same. Watching him eat makes Gao Feifei feel like she can smell it. She gulps and quickly types a comment telling him to review the food. His little sister spots this single viewer comment popping up. She nudges her brother, who is too busy eating to notice. He leans in closer to read and lets out a soft laugh. His voice echoes in the room, sounding incredibly charming. Our food blogger is caught completely off guard by his vibe. Caught off guard by our boy's insanely gorgeous face, her nose instantly starts dripping blood. Gao Feifei literally cannot believe she just got a nosebleed from looking at a handsome guy. She is totally useless, but who can blame her? The way he smiles is just too much. He is literally her dream guy. She plugs her nose with a tissue while shakily typing a message to the streamer. Please stay back, she types, leaving him completely speechless. He is completely shocked. Like, has he really gained anti-fans before even making his official debut?
Feeling so depressed because even in his past life when anti-fans were everywhere,
literally nobody ever doubted his god-tier looks. Meanwhile, Shen Zhuxing is standing right there mocking him with 0 shame, so our boy silently drags his chair to the corner. He pouts with his back to the camera, whispering that he will gladly stay away.
this is where Gao Feifei gets hit right in the feels, clutching her chest in pure joy.
How can any guy be this cute? She immediately hits that share button on her social media feed, telling everyone to get in here. Her followers immediately rush in, asking if she is doing some kind of paid promotion. An ad, probably. But a few curious viewers still decide to check out the live stream anyway.
They just cannot resist the hype.
The chat starts blowing up with people saying they came from her social media page. But wait, where is the handsome guy?
Shen Zhuxing watches in shock as the viewer count suddenly skyrockets to 1,000 people.
Rubbing his eyes in absolute complete disbelief, he stammers out for his brother to hurry on over. He tells him to hurry over. Hearing this, our boy immediately perks up his ears and slowly scoots his chair back.
Seriously, guys, the hilarious part is that he does all this with his back to the camera.
It is peak weirdness. Even though Shen Zhuxing is used to his friend being a troll, he's still pretty speechless. He asks what he's doing since he just told him to stay away. The chat is totally lost. They see this red-haired guy's broad shoulders and perfectly built athletic frame. And they honestly cannot imagine him having a weird or ugly face under all that. No shot, right guys? They start sending super sweet messages telling him that looks are not everything in life. For them, inner beauty is what really counts, and the inside is far more important than the outside. As long as he works hard to earn a living, nobody can judge him. Gao Feifei is dying of laughter. She quickly types in chat explaining she only meant he was too close to her. His pure handsomeness was literally blinding her, while Shen Zhuxing actively monitors the rapidly booming chat. He reads them aloud. Hearing all this wholesome support actually warms his heart, so he slowly turns around. He's genuinely touched by their kind words and thanks everyone so much for showing him so much love. The big reveal is finally here.
Instead of some ugly face, they are met with a completely gorgeous top-tier visual.
A literal masterpiece. Standing tall like a majestic tree under the morning sun, he is absolutely built different.
She is basically an energetic little kitten, totally independent and full of life.
Oh my god, that is actually so cool. The fans are completely losing it, claiming they just fell in love at first sight. Everyone is begging the streamer for his contact info, and he is happily teasing the chat. Looking at their usernames, he notices that almost everyone asking for his number is a girl. The hype gets him super excited as he starts yelling for everyone to pay attention. He tells his viewers to spam the chat with comments calling him a total handsome beast.
Shen Zhuxing is just standing there, completely dumbfounded, unable to believe her own brother.
He is honestly so shameless. The chat asks what kind of streamer he even is.
They promise to back him up, so he proudly announces he is actually a live commerce sales streamer. Right then, he swiftly snatches back all the snacks he had previously left with Shen Zhuxing. He lines them up right in front of him, secretly swallowing his spit in anticipation. He starts pitching Lao Pai's premium snack pack, shouting it is not 998. It is only 6.6 yuan, a total steal that you absolutely cannot miss. While Shen Zhuxing is looking away, he casually sneaks a hand over and grabs a bag. He tears it open and stuffs a handful in his mouth because stolen snacks taste best. He nudges Shen Zhuxing and the two of them share a hilarious look.
Shen Zhuxing stares back at him, but his face remains totally deadpan and serious.
She sighs, knowing he is about to start some crazy drama, while he prepares his acting. Suddenly, he waves the snacks around and screams for everyone to check out this awesome deal. He tells the viewers to spam 6s in the chat if they want a pack. Honestly, his loud, dramatic voice even starts cracking, which is just pure gold. It immediately hooks the audience, even though some of them are totally startled by his energy. Before the viewers can even react to his hilarious sales pitch, he keeps going. He yells that he can feel their immense hype, proving their little shop is extremely popular. For anyone who missed out, he urges them to just look at this massive snack pack. He asks if they think a pack like this would normally cost hundreds of dollars. But today, he promises to give his viewers the ultimate discount of a lifetime. He claims it is only 6.6 yuan, and anyone trying to overcharge them
is officially his enemy, and he will fight them to the end.
He repeats that this massive snack box is strictly 6.6 yuan. He jokes about losing 3 Rolls-Royces and 5 Mercedes, but their happiness is all that matters. Drop the link now, he screams, and the entire chat is laughing at his crazy energy. I mean, he is not just acting like a salesman, he is literally a professional.
The troll comments start rolling in, asking if someone with an elf body can eat them.
Others ask if desert chickens can eat it, or if it is safe for large pores. One viewer even asks if they can get it delivered all the way to Mars. Another person asks if a 1-star creature is allowed to consume these snacks. Someone in a war zone even asks if the snack box can block incoming artillery shells. While the chat goes wild, he nudges the frozen Shen Zhuxing to get her to play along. He aggressively signals her with his eyes, basically saying that they need to secure this bag. Shen Zhuxing opens her mouth but finds it absolutely impossible to say something so embarrassing. Frustrated by her hesitation, he steps in and shouts to the audience on her behalf. He announces that they managed to bring the actual boss onto the stream today. He demands the boss confirm if 6.6 yuan is okay, while she takes deep breaths. She screams in panic, insisting that 660 is way below wholesale cost. He immediately cuts her off, saying his viewers have supported him for 10 minutes already. He wants to give his family some real benefits today in his live stream. He promises them the biggest discount, dropping the price straight to 660. No shot, but she panics, crying that they will lose everything. He fakes anger and demands a simple yes or no, threatening to walk away. He declares he would rather lose this deal to give fans the lowest price. Fine, she gives in, her face instantly turning bright red. She literally hides under the table to escape the cringe. Peak comedy. The chat goes absolutely wild, demanding the link, joking she will lose her house. Fans call him a legend for this, instantly spamming that they are buying. They scream for the link, proving his immersive sales tactics are working. Within seconds, the company's only 200 snack gift boxes are completely gone. He smashed his sales goal by 200%, leaving empty-handed viewers begging. The crowd demands more, telling him to go restock right now. One viewer jokes they are best friends with the boss for a discount. Another viewer demands more, claiming they are tight with Sasuke from Naruto. Just search my handle. Someone else claims to be close friends with a famous pop star. The chat is hilarious. Someone even claims they are tight with Optimus Prime. Just drop my username. Others claim they are best friends with Snow White to make it happen. Go restock. Another types claiming they are close with a famous scientist. Just drop my handle. Another fan claims they hang out with a literal superhero to get the hookup. It gets incredibly ridiculous. Shen Zhuxing is stunned, muttering that their stream is apparently filled with global VIPs. He just waves. He tells everyone to hit that follow button, whether their phones are dying or not. Follow the channel so you do not get lost, taking you straight to the top. With that, he signs off, refusing to work a single second of overtime. Screen goes black. She stubbornly grabs her backpack, still looking thoroughly defeated by the experience. Without saying a word, she begins sweeping all the leftover snacks into her bag.
He gets defensive. After grabbing the snacks, she cleans up the mess, collecting his pens.
She neatly packs away his draft sheets and exam papers into his backpack. Let us go. The young girl walks out quickly with one backpack on her shoulder and another in her arms. He watches her walk away and teases that her future husband will be incredibly lucky.
Talk about lucky!
Shen Zhuxing rolls her eyes hard, telling him behind every caring sister is a messy brother. Constantly dropping the ball.
You should probably check your phone, though, she adds, because it is literally blowing up.
He opens his screen to find over a dozen missed calls waiting. Suddenly, he gets a notification from a new contact saved as Shen Mengyao. She sends him a quick text saying, "Humph," with a smirk.
The message says, "You are totally dead." Bro, what?
Our MC racked his brain trying to remember who this girl even was, since the name sounded so familiar.
But he just could not match her name to a face. Is she an aunt or an older sister?
Her casual, teasing tone definitely does not sound like an aunt, so she must be a sister. Great, now he has another massive headache. Is she his actual sister or a cousin?
See, the Shen family is absolutely packed with girls in this generation.
In his generation, only he and Shen Chang are boys. Literally everyone else is a girl.
And get this, the Shen family has some insane genetics for multiple births, especially twins and triplets.
Which basically means there are way too many kids in this house. Grandfather Shen Tini and grandmother Feng Yuyan started it all. They actually had triplets for their very first birth, including his mother, Shen Zhuxing. Then came second aunt Shen Yusheng and third aunt Shen Yishui. And Shen Zhuxing, his mother, went on to have a total of 7 children herself. Her first birth was actually triplets, namely Shen Yuheng, Shen Sheliu, and Shen Xinyu. Her third birth was another set of triplets, Shen Xinyan, Shen Mengyao, and his brother Shen Chang. The other aunts, Shen Yishi and Shen Yisheng, also had their own twins, Shen Xiuting and Shen Chuang. Along with Shen Ranyan and Shen Huaishui, his phone contact list is literally overflowing right now. Seeing all those endless Shen family members makes him completely break down. Other transmigrators get to fight villains or crazy schemers, but he is literally about to die just from memorizing names. This family is way too fertile. Honestly, he is completely speechless. The original novel forced this massive family trope to make him loved, but for RMC, this is a pure nightmare scenario. According to the original plot, absolutely no one in the Shen family except his parents likes him, meaning they all despise the original owner of this body. Which basically means 16 different family members hate him now. He rubs his temples in absolute dread. He lets out an incredibly deep sigh, making Shen Zhuxing look up and ask what is wrong with him.
Our MC dramatically sighs that people with happy families can never understand his tragic pain.
He plays it cool, prompting Shen Zhuxing to ask how his family is not happy. He unlocks his phone and slides the incredibly long contact list right in front of him. See all these people sharing the Shen surname? Do you actually know any of them? Honestly, it is fine if you do not, because he has zero clue either. But the worst part is, none of them like him. Talk about a rough start. Shen Zhuxing tries to comfort him, saying it is totally fine since nobody really liked him before anyway. You still survived back then. And yeah, our MC honestly did not care that much either. In his past life, he had tons of haters and got through it. Wait, actually, hold on. He suddenly remembers a massive detail and says seriously that he did not actually survive his past life. He literally died, which is why he transmigrated here in the first place. Shen Zhuxing just rolls his eyes, asking if his haters assassinated him in his sleep or something crazy like that. And actually killed him. Our MC just nods along, totally talking absolute nonsense now. He jokes that they probably took out the whole family, earning an insult from Shen Zhuxing. Outside, a low-key Rolls-Royce is waiting patiently. The driver spots Shen Zhuxing walking out and rushes over. He quickly opens the car door for them, and Shen Zhuxing politely thanks Lao Li.
Hearing the greeting, Lao Li looks completely flattered as he quickly nods in response.
Lao Li has been driving Shen Zhuxing around since he was a little kid. Because of his quiet nature, Shen Zhuxing rarely spoke a word growing up. Even the Ni family barely got a word out of her, let alone some random driver.
So when the driver suddenly heard Shen Zhuxing politely greeting him,
He was absolutely thrilled. As soon as our MC and Shen Zhuxing got in, they sat down and pulled their seatbelts in perfect sync.
fastening them in one smooth motion, their synchronization was insane.
Even old Li was completely shocked. He curiously eyed the boy next to her, our MC with bright red hair, looking incredibly cool. With a kind and innocent vibe, he immediately left a fantastic impression on old Li.
What really shocked old Li was Shen Zhuxing nagging the entire way, telling him to never drink unsupervised water and to double-check his locked doors.
And to always wait for someone else to taste food first to ensure it is poison-free.
While our guy just casually nodded along to humor her. Old Li was actually getting emotional seeing his usually silent young lady like this. She was finally growing up and caring for others, making him understand his wife's trashy web novels. You know, that classic butler line from those cheesy CEO stories?
She is finally smiling. But in reality, Shen Zhuxing was just deeply worried. She was terrified the MC would be poisoned by his hateful family or beaten to death overnight.
She wasn't nearly as worried about how he used to be.
Back then, he was just arrogant, but now that he is her brother, things are totally different.
His smart mouth is so provoking, he is practically begging for a beating. Back when she was a naive kid, she saw her bullying brother sleeping on the couch. Getting a sudden idea from a TV show, she decided to make a move. She treated him like a monster to slay and accidentally slapped him right in the face.
Scared out of his mind, our MC woke up furious and snatched her right up.
He hung her up on a cabinet while she cried herself to sleep watching him. So yeah, she has every reason to worry this annoying guy will get poisoned. They soon arrived at the Shen estate. After exchanging contacts with Shen Zhuxing, he got off the car and waited until the Ni family's ride disappeared.
He turned back to the Shen residence, which is a massive flex of pure wealth.
Walking from the gate to the front door meant passing gardens and fountains. It nearly killed our out-of-shape MC, but he noticed the living room lights were still on. Quietly slipping inside, he found the place completely silent.
He checked the time in confusion, seeing it was only 8:30 p.m.
Do rich folks sleep this early? Honestly, that is great, since he can avoid his family. Feeling relieved, he pushed open the door and looked into the living room. Suddenly, dozens of eyes from the family sitting on the custom sofas locked onto him. Talk about a plot twist. This is definitely not what he expected. Right across from them stood a girl in revealing clothes, looking like a total rebel. This whole scene looked like a massive family intervention, and she shot him a smug smirk. She was clearly thrilled because he just walked into the crossfire. Now he could act as a perfect meat shield for her. Instant regret. Sure enough, sitting right in the center of the sofa, the oldest and most imposing elder commanded him to come over.
He is absolutely cooked as he nervously takes a step forward.
Next to her lectured sister, our girl stood facing everyone with a totally sincere face. Seeing how well-behaved she looked, the old patriarch paused his anger for a second. But our MC takes this exact chance to speak up, raising a finger and jumping right in. She goes, "I am totally arrogant, conceited, reckless, and completely out of control. Super dramatic and totally self-centered. Hating school and having zero clue how the world works. Living on the edge of rebellion and useless at such a young age.
Dyeing her hair red, talking back to elders, and daydreaming.
Thinking she can get famous overnight like some shameless fraud. A total scourge to society, completely ruining the Shen family's reputation. Honestly, she speaks so calmly, it's like she isn't even roasting herself." Old Master Shen was about to yell, but he literally had to swallow his words back down. Talk about a pro move, she stole all his lines and left him totally speechless. Seriously, she roasted herself so hard that even the old man couldn't say worse.
Especially that last line. Talk about overkill. The crowd's reaction is absolutely priceless.
Next to her, Shen Mengyao slowly turns her head in absolute shock. Like, wow, talk about a masterclass in self-sabotage. Grandpa Shen Tianyi just coughs awkwardly. He sighs, saying he has no idea what these kids are thinking nowadays. None of them want to take over the family business, only wanting to chase some idle dream. He acts all heartbroken, like managing a few multi-million-dollar branches is a punishment. Is that really a punishment? He was actually planning to hand over several branch companies. But since they are so unwilling, he says they can just forget about it. Our MC opens her mouth, but the words get caught. Wait, she actually wanted that money. Meanwhile, Shen Mengyao stands there looking incredibly proud, claiming she must follow her dreams.
She yells that dreams are priceless and that the elders just don't get it.
She wants to debut in a girl group and become a real musician. She claims she doesn't need help, since she already signed up for a survival show. Grandpa Shen Tianyi literally laughs out of pure anger, mocking her grand ambition. He tells Feng Yuyan to send him to that show she always watches, Beyond Hoji, right? Hearing that, Shen Mingyao is absolutely devastated. Clutching her chest in disbelief, she cries out to her grandpa. Like, just because of her dream, he wants to send her to a circus? To play a monkey? That is wild. The rest of the family quickly jumps in to calm the old man down. They agree that sending Meng Yao to be a circus monkey is a bit much. Plus, with her clumsy personality, she might accidentally let the lions and tigers loose. What if she hurts someone? And besides, they point out another issue. Circuses are banning animal acts anyway, so she would just end up unemployed. Feng Yuyan helplessly rubs her temples, looking 10 years older from the sheer chaos.
She corrects them. It's not some monkey show, it's called Metamorphosis.
Our MC helplessly explains that it's actually a reality show for troubled youth. It sends spoiled kids to remote villages to experience the hardships of country life. The goal is to make them appreciate their wealth and finally reform their lives.
It's a grueling, down-to-earth show, and country life means endless farm work.
These rich kids will have to farm, and with zero experience, they're going to end up covered in mud.
Since the reality show is notoriously brutal, Li Ping casually makes a remark. They look like wild monkeys out there. And honestly, they have been hilariously calling the show Monkey Metamorphosis the entire time. Grandpa does not care what it is called. Shen Mengyao is getting sent.
Xingyun throws a totally gloating look back at her, a smug grin plastered on her face.
But then, Grandpa drops a massive bomb. Xingyun, you are going too. Xingyun literally begs to be tortured as the heir instead, which is honestly hilarious. She begs Grandpa to listen. No shot. He just dismisses the meeting. Grandpa storms upstairs in a total huff, while Grandmother calmly smooths out her elegant dress. Then she follows him. As the rest of the relatives pack up, some cousins just cannot resist gloating first. They mockingly pat Meng Yao on the shoulder while laughing their heads off. Mocking if she will return as a good little girl, even if their households split up. Their villas are literally side by side, so all these cousins basically grew up together. Everyone is super close, well, except her. Her older brother, Yu Heng, is the actual chosen heir to the family empire. The guy is always swamped, probably pulling overtime at the office right now. Her other siblings are also too busy with their careers to join this drama. Her dad, Ziming, stands there looking tall, sharp, and incredibly cold. He is like a statue, while her mom, Shuqin, is the absolute definition of elegance. A hint of worry creases her brow, softening her usually gentle gaze. Right now, she looks totally helpless as the two stand side by side. One is incredibly sharp and capable, while the other is pure grace. Who would ever guess they have 6 kids? They look more like college sweethearts. A totally gorgeous campus couple. At this point, her mom bites her lip. Looking like she wants to speak, but her dad gently raises his hand, quietly telling her that they just need to cool down on their own. With that, they head upstairs together, leaving Xingyun watching their backs, low-key impressed. She silently thinks her mom is pure elegance, while her dad is peak competence. Power couple goals, honestly. Their sister, Xinyan, watches this entire drama with a completely blank face.
She does not say a single word to her siblings before walking upstairs.
Shen Cheng looks like he wants to speak to Meng Yao, but just sighs and follows. Just like that, the massive living room is left to just the two sisters. Meng Yao lets out a petty scoff, and Xingyun immediately scoffs right back. She hates losing.
So she immediately doubles down and scoffs 3 more times.
Xingyun mocks her sister's whistling teeth and, bro, the pettiness is actually crazy.
Hoping to establish some big sister dominance, she yells that she is older, claiming she will always be superior, so do not think they are equals. Just because they are going on the exact same show together.
She insists they are totally different because she actually has a dream,
and dramatically asks if Xingyun even knows what a real dream is.
But Xingyun is barely listening, just thinking about her upcoming tutoring call.
So she just hits her sister with a highly sarcastic, yeah, sure, whatever. Why is he having such a rough day? Suddenly, his phone starts vibrating.
He checks the screen and sees Shen Zhuxing is requesting a video call.
But he decides to ignore that childish girl and heads upstairs instead. And then, boom, out of nowhere, a literal foot of doom trips him up. He panics and dives face first, desperately trying to shield his face. Ain't no way he is getting disfigured today. He hits the floor with a massive thud. As he groans in pain, his sister, Shen Mengyao, is behind him dying of laughter. She mocks him, asking if he forgot his own sister, while he just glares at her angrily. Without saying a word, he stomps upstairs, making sure every single step is loud as hell. He really wanted her to feel his rage, but Shen Mengyao did not even realize that once he turned around, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief, knowing she expected a punch. Super proud of her prank, she hums a little tune and stays downstairs for a bit. Instead, she sneaks straight into the kitchen to find some food. A good mood always boosts the appetite, and she downs 2 whole bowls before heading up. She walks through the dark to her room, opening the door to go inside. Suddenly, a foot kicks straight out of the pitch-black darkness, aiming right for her butt. Our guy kicks with all his might, launching Shen Mengyao flying straight into her room. He slams her door shut and swiftly cracks open his own. Slip inside, slam it, lock it, one smooth motion. His escape is flawless. Meanwhile, Shen Mengyao is flat on the floor, completely dazed without even seeing her attacker's face. The culprit is already safe in his room, totally thrilled with this epic revenge. As he snickers to himself, his phone starts vibrating once again. Oh shoot, he completely forgot about Shen Zhuxing. He frantically answers the video call. The call connects, and a very gloomy Shen Zhuxing glares at him resentfully. She does not say a word, just giving him that heavy look. Like a resentful wife left all alone. Feeling guilty, he rubs his nose and stammers out an explanation. He is always a coward when he is in the wrong. But then he mentions that he is being sent away to a rural exchange show. Think of it like a transformation program, and her reaction is priceless. Her tightly furrowed brows instantly relax, and her face completely lights up. She even smirks, letting out a hilariously smug, teasing laugh. Yep, Shen Zhuxing's happiness is definitely built on his suffering. Whatever, time to hit the books and study. He rummages through his bag for exam papers while Shen Zhuxing watches him on screen. He still cannot find them after all that digging, making her burst out laughing. Meanwhile, Shen Zhuxing sits on the edge of the bed with a magazine. The warm, dim light softly fills the room, but even with the book in hand, his mind is clearly miles away since he has not flipped a single page. The bathroom door gently clicks open, and Shen Zhuxing steps out.
She's wearing a sleek black silk nightgown with her damp dark hair clinging to her forehead.
She looks incredibly stunning as she takes off her rimless glasses. Her fox-like eyes narrow slightly, giving off a beautiful, lazy vibe. She walks over to Shen Zhuxing and gently wraps her arms around him. Resting her chin softly on his shoulder, the warm mist from the bathroom wraps around them both, creating an incredibly cozy, intimate moment. She tells her husband that Xingyun is a super sensitive kid, and getting scolded in front of everyone is brutal.
Since they ignored him, she is worried he is low-key heartbroken right now.
So she suggests they go check on him without actually bothering him. They will just eavesdrop on what he is doing, she says, giving him the sweetest look. But Shen Zhuxing is not having it. He is the literal chairman of a massive corporation. Sneaking around his own house is something he refuses to do. Shen Zhuxing does not back down, though, letting out a heavy sigh to make him feel guilty. She begs him to just take a quick peek at the door with her. Xingyun might do something reckless because of the stress, and that terrifies her.
The kid has always been super introverted and avoids talking to people. Whenever something is wrong, he just bottles it up inside and never shares.
Shen Zhuxing shuts it down immediately. Absolutely not. No way is the great chairman of the Shen group going to press his ear to a door.
It is incredibly embarrassing, but his wife is starting to get seriously mad. Seeing his beloved wife genuinely angry, this powerful CEO instantly folds. Cut to a few minutes later, and the nervous dad is glancing around the hallway.
He keeps asking if they are done, praying nobody catches them acting like absolute fools.
Sneaking around to eavesdrop on their kid is definitely not how he planned to spend his night.
But Shen Zhuxing is fully locked in, pressing her ear to the door to catch any sound.
Suddenly, she looks super confused because she hears Xingyun on the phone.
He is actually laughing and chatting, so he seems completely fine.
Shen Zhuxing sighs in relief, and her husband is instantly ready to make a run for it. Honestly, watching this cold, arrogant CEO try to keep his cool while spying is actually hilarious. Standing outside a bedroom door would ruin his reputation forever, and his wife finally nods.
She admits she only wanted to make sure their son had not done anything crazy.
With no interest in invading his privacy, they both turn to leave. But right as they turn, Shen Zhuxing's leg completely falls asleep and she reaches out. Asking him for a hand, he grabs her soft palm. But before he can even enjoy the romantic moment, she loses her balance and pulls him forward.
She looks fragile, but she has low-key got some serious strength.
Caught completely off guard, they both go crashing forward together. And boom, both of their foreheads slam straight into the door with a massive thud. Ignoring his own throbbing head, the dad immediately worries about his wife. He checks her forehead, which already has a massive, bright red bump forming on her pale skin. It looks brutal. He gently rubs it, telling her that it is going to be okay.
Right then, the door swings open and Xingyun is standing there staring at his parents. They are literally sitting on the floor with matching red foreheads, looking incredibly guilty.
He looks at them and asks if they skipped sleep just to come kowtow at his door.